I would tell women, like, if you don't do anything else, explore womanhood, explore your femininity, get to know yourself on a deeper level. Because the power that's gonna bring you, that confidence that gives you is unmatched.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Never Waste Talent. And today we have an amazing guest here with us. She's someone who takes pride in providing healing, personal healing practices by showing interest in the well-being of others. She's an author, an educator, entrepreneur, and a true believer with a beautiful soul. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Brittany Durr.
That was a good intro.
Thank you.
I love that. That's me.
Yeah,
that is.
For sure.
I love that.
Well, I appreciate you coming.
I appreciate being here.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is nice. It's professional. The lighting is good. Like, this is nice. And I just love what you stand for and, like, you know, what you're doing and your message you put out here. So
Yeah, for sure. And likewise, that's why I brought you on board. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how you been?
Whew, that's a loaded question.
We here for it.
That's a loaded question, but honestly, I've been good. I'm not gonna complain. You know, this life bring us a lot of things, but overall, I've been good. God gave me a year off work,
Okay.
so I've been like chilling in my bubble, with my pink light on, with my candles lit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, baking cakes and peach cobblers and working on my business, and you know, just healing.
Yeah.
Getting to know myself better, doing all of the things. So overall, I'm good. I'm grateful.
That's good. So kind of expanding on that, because you say loaded. So what about mentally? You know what I mean? Like with the year off, of course. Just mentally, how you been feeling?
It goes a few places. You know, I got some times where I'm great. I'm amazing. Life is great. Other times I'm worried. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I took a year off work.
Yeah.
Mortgage still due. Car note still due. But honestly, I'll say this, because this life doesn't come with any, like, it don't come with you not having challenges to face or hurdles to overcome. I've been in such a sacred space that all of the hurdles and challenges are so much like overshadowed by like peace and just being grounded and grateful that I was able to take a year off work and like I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't sink.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here. I'm still making it. I mean, I gotta go back to work next year, but
Right.
but as a woman, what that did to my nervous system
Mm-hmm.
is unmatched. What that did for my self-esteem, for my work ethic, for like just healing on a deeper level when you don't have to worry about like the hustle and bustle of the day.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, I was in education, so that's not a job you like clock out of and like that's just it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you worry about your students who ain't eating, who really don't have homes, who need a little extra help, who didn't show up, who been absent for more than 3 days. You know what I'm saying? So like that mental, my brain is always on.
Mm. So
I've had a year to recalibrate my nervous system, to think about me, like solely me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been amazing. It's been a good journey.
Yeah, that's cool. So you mentioned peace. You know, like what are those things that kind of bring you that peace?
I'm a coffee shop girl.
Mm.
I like to read. I like to be in my own space. I like to, I'm a Jesus girly through and through.
True believer.
Baddie right after that. Okay. But honestly, you know, being the new adults that we are, you know, we the new adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to really find what peace is to you, because a lot of times people try to tell us what peace is. You know, culture tries to tell us what peace is.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not careful, you can get souped into like religious belief, which is not really spiritual, but like religion that's a whole nother conversation. So you really got to like journey through some stuff to figure out what is peace to you. Because for me, peace is anything that balances out my nervous system, where I'm not anxious, where I'm not overthinking and worried and like consumed with the world or like my day-to-day stuff. Like I could just like breathe and relax.
I like that angle. I really like that angle. I love it. So obviously you're an educator, but just tell the people a little bit, you know what I'm saying, like where you from and obviously what else you do for a living.
I'm from the south side of Chicago, Inglewood to be exact. That's first and foremost. But yeah, I'm from Inglewood. I don't know, I love Chicago. I love Inglewood. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? But I feel like, you know, being from the south side of Chicago and Inglewood, you see a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You see a lot of stuff. And I knew I wanted to get out of there at an early age. And not to just like get out of there to not come back and get back to my people, but like I knew it was like something better.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Sure. And it really shaped who I am. It raised me. The experiences I have from like being raised in Inglewood will never leave me. But because I was exposed to other things growing up as well and going to college and meeting new people and all of the things, I got exposed to like that there's more. There's more. So I'm from the south side of Chicago. I'm an Inglewood girly. I went to Western Illinois University. And even though it's a PWI, we had a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a good time. And I went into education. I've been an educator for 10 years. Wow. And you know, I stepped away last year because it was taking a toll, because I'm the type of person, like I don't do anything that my heart is not in. And the state of education today for like Black and brown students is it is, if I can use a good term, it's not where it should be. As pertains to like resources and just academic levels and teachers and bodies and people who, you know, are committed to like bringing the best out of these kids, because we talking about a whole different generation than what we come from. So it was taking a toll on me, but I love it. I think it's I'll always be a teacher at heart. And I taught high school most of my career. Yeah. So hey y'all, my kids love me. I let them down. And you know, they still call me. I still talk to them. I got students as teachers now. Oh wow. Okay. Dope. And yeah, so education has been a big part of my life for me, and then as well as being an educator. Yeah. And yeah, it's brought me like so many great relationships with my students and like coworkers and you know, people that I've met along the way. So it's really shaped me in a lot of ways. Okay. So when you say it took a toll on you, do you feel like that's the case because of the direction like schooling was going? You know, because compared to when we was in school, like you said, it's a lot different now. So do you feel like different. What made it a little overwhelming and took a toll on you? It's so many things. And I'm not even going to say it was all the students. Could have been like the faculty and all that too. Hello. But I'm not going to excuse the students either. But because I'm an adult and I know that there's so many circumstances and situations that are above them, that shapes them, and they're just a product of what they're coming from. Yeah. It's only so much blame I can hold on them. Yeah. However, I love accountability. So my thing is, I'm from where you from. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I ain't never been at school acting a fool. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't blame your environment to a certain extent, because when you step up in here, I'm like, you know, I love you. I'm going to give you room to be yourself. We're going to walk through some identity issues. So at the end of the day, it's about respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to respect you. You're going to respect me. If those lines get blurred, I'm on what you on at that point. I'm weak. So a lot of kids, you know, have been raised in this culture and society that they get something for nothing. And that started with this thing called No Child Left Behind. Yeah, I've heard of that. And at that point, they started just passing kids along. You know what I'm saying? You doing bare minimum, you graduate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And there's a culture that had been built of, I'm gonna just barely do something and I want a grade. I want a good grade too. You know what I'm saying? I want rocking like that, because at the end of the day, when you graduate and you not in these four walls, the world not gonna treat you like that.
Right.
So that was taking a toll on me. Like, they really want something for nothing. But the policies was perpetuating how they were acting. You know what I'm saying? So like, even in education now, like, kids don't get 0%. You gotta at least get them a 50%.
Damn.
Even
so
if they don't
do,
try.
Like curve them or something? Or?
I don't think it's a curve. It's a policy.
Damn, that's crazy.
So if this kid show up and he just write his name on his paper, I got to give him a 50%.
Still failing, but definitely a 50 is way better than a 0 for sure.
But it's but if you earned a 0, you know what I'm saying? Because I got kids who probably really tried and got a 55%.
Right, yeah.
And you mean to tell me, you should be on a level and playing field with this other student. Now, I do understand there's other things that come into play, like students with IEPs and learning disabilities and all of the things. So we definitely have some things that we have to have some protocols to how to grade them. But on an average, that's the policy right now.
Wow. That's interesting. So like, did you ever like find yourself kind of comparing the schooling now to when you was in school?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. However, I think when we were in school, we had more of a community.
Agreed.
Like, you just couldn't walk down the street cursing, you know, because your neighbor was like, "Hey, stop playing." Some of your neighbors could whoop you. It like when we was growing up. Yeah. Or you was scared that they was gonna tell your parents that you was out here cursing or acting crazy. Yeah. Now you can't talk to nobody, kid. Like, so we had like more of a community. I think that the internet wasn't as evasive as it is now and available. Yeah. To like kids as young as like 3rd, 4th grade now. So that plays a big part, because the internet is really raising a lot of our students, because it's like, it's culture. It's a part of our culture. So this is how they get their information. This is like how they get images of people who to look up to and what they want to be, Yeah. I started hearing kids like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to, like, you don't hear kids like, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Like, not the majority.
Yeah, not no more.
It's like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a rapper. I want to be, in my classroom, it's like, okay, but you're not going to post a video and just go viral. It's strategy. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still work. Yeah. You can't cheat the work. So that, I'm always reminded of like how we grew up and what's going on now. But I'm a type of person where it's like, I do understand the shift and that we can't treat the new kids how we grew up. However, it's certain things in our culture as Black people that should not go anywhere. Right, yeah. Like principles and things we live by should live on from generation to generation. So it's like, I can't keep giving like excuses like, they live in this generation and okay, we descended from slaves. Yeah. We had to adjust to some things, but we still had to take some things that they founded with us though. So yeah, it's different for sure. Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect, segue and tradition to just talk about, where you grew up. So obviously from the South Side, Inglewood, South Side of Chicago. What was childhood like for you, just overall, you know what I mean?
I think that I had such a well-versed childhood. Like, we was still going outside playing. Me and my sister, I got 4 brothers. So we was playing basketball, you know what I'm saying? We on concrete playing with the boys, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I
know. We went outside, we was playing ring down ditch, we was throwing snowballs. So we had a real childhood. Yeah. The childhood was so prevalent in that moment that you didn't realize that you were growing up in trauma and poverty. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you really didn't get that like retrospect. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you see, you get older, like, oh, that's why I respond to things like that. So for me, like, I grew up, I got, I'm the youngest of 6 siblings. 4 brothers. I got a sister. And being the youngest, they say I'm spoiled. I really don't see it. That's what they say. But for me, I think, I had those moments was like, oh, I ain't got nobody to play with. Never, because the boys was out doing their thing. They was older.
Right.
My sister, she kind of like had her own friend group. She's 2 years older than me, and which is not a lot now. But like when you like growing up, that could be like a little steep age difference.
You think so?
For us, I think so, because one thing about me and my siblings, like, we kicked it in the house. We had a good time. We was playing Apollo. We was playing basketball with the sock on the door.
Yeah.
So we did chill together and have a good time. However, when it was time to go outside, everybody was like with their friends.
Yeah.
My best friend, she couldn't come outside. Hey, but she couldn't come outside. Like, she couldn't come out that gate all the time. So it was just like, sometimes I'd just be like, I ain't got nobody to play with. So I was like playing school by myself. I used to like, I'm a journal type of girl, so I would like have my mama buy me journals and stuff like that. But overall, I had a good childhood. I had friends. I was into sports. I probably played every sport in school, and I love school. I like to learn. I like to I like to feel like I'm evolving in certain areas.
Yeah.
So as a kid in that, like, if I'm talking from like the little girl in me, I had a good childhood. But when I got older and I started to have to like use certain tools and communicate and, show up certain ways, and I couldn't, I had to go back and see why I couldn't show up in certain areas. So then I had to like really feel like, oh, you got some rejection issues. You got some abandonment issues. You got some, you can't articulate your emotions well because you didn't grow up in a household where they did that. You know what I'm saying? So as a young adult, I started to feel it, but I didn't feel it as a kid. Not a lot. Sometimes, but not a lot.
So was there like a situation or an experience that kind of made you realize, like looking back on those things,
that I was inadequate?
Yeah.
It's going to college. It's a culture shock.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into. I feel like for me, college was the same way. Like when you mentioned earlier about the neighborhood and wanting to get out. Like when I went off to college, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it was a culture shock for me. I didn't really go too much out of the city, out of my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So like being around this whole diverse crowd was definitely a culture shock. But when I came back, and I feel like, you know what I'm saying, me and you, we were around the same, we graduated same class or whatever. I just feel like things kind of changed around that time, like 2009, 2010 type of thing. So when I came back, I was kind of like a little surprised, you know what I mean? Like the hood wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same,
And that kind of like made me want to like leave too, you know what I'm saying, leave the city. But of course you come back, you know what I'm saying, because like this your root, this where you come from, you know what I mean? And I feel like the people from the hood, like they understand you the most, they more relatable to you in a way.
In a way, yeah. Until they don't.
Yeah, for sure, because like you've grown and you know what I'm saying, things like that. But yeah, I could definitely relate to you on that for sure.
I think that college really put us in an identity crisis because you was happy to go. You was like, I'm gonna go to college. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a good time, which it was.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good time. Freshman year of college was the best year of my life to date.
Yeah.
But when you look around and you was like, am I as smart as I thought I was? I ain't getting straight A's and B's like I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? I gotta really go to the library.
Right.
Or I don't know how to study. Because we not like, I don't know about John Hope, y'all was a little bougie.
Nah.
But at my high school, I didn't have to study to get good grades.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, we studied, but I feel like it was kind of the same. I think people look at it as like a college prep and think
it was. I tried to go. I was supposed to go to John Hope. Y'all missed out on a great person.
We did though, but we had a great class though. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they ain't really. I ain't gonna say they didn't prep us for college because
I mean they didn't though. Like because in a sense, it's like college is not like high school.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's. Like you're thrust into this environment of like people who don't look like you, who culture is not the same, and not just the students, but the overall town that you're living in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So you gotta balance keeping up on your grades and being a person in this new environment. Like, what do I say? How do I act? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. when you get like when you from the hood and you go to a like PWI, you be like, dang, you don't know how to act around white people because you haven't. This is not like our norm.
Right.
Now you trying to talk a little bit different, like, and it's like it puts you in an identity crisis because you wanna be your authentic self. You know what I'm saying? But like, is it too ghetto? You know what I'm saying? Am I doing too much? Am I too loud? Or all of the things. And I think what college did, at least for me, it forced me to figure out what's comfortable for me. Because without like dimming myself too much, you know what I'm saying? They taught us code switching and, etiquette in the classroom or on campus. But in reality, it's like, it takes away from us in a certain type of way because am I being my authentic self? You know what I'm saying? And then like, college, this ain't at home. When you bored, you go to somebody's dorm, you go across campus, you go kick it. So you got to learn how to like manage yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like
by being on your own,
yeah, you being on your own. So it was so many things like you dating and it's like, yo, my man there to be like, he can't come in this house. Y'all better sit on the porch or, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you dating. So for me, I've been a score from Delaware since, since I could remember because my brothers were like really protectors. It wasn't no like you talking to all these guys and that was never the case. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want nobody to call my house. Honestly, because it was like, they was just so ghetto at the time. Like they would curse you out. They would just be on some like big brother type stuff. Like now I can know like, oh, it's big brother type stuff. But it's like, you wasn't calling my house. And we ain't talking school.
Tell me we ain't talking school.
It was a wrap until like I dated this guy who my brother was like, they like approved of because like he was into sports. My brother knew like his older uncle or whatever. So it was like, oh, he cool. You know what I'm saying? That was like what, juniors, almost senior year.
Yeah.
And even his mama, it wasn't no, you come over, y'all sit in the front room with everybody. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so grateful for that now, but it left me green. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm green in college freshman year. Boys trying to talk to me, you ain't coming to my room. Like you want to meet in this lounge? And now it's like I'm the lane because my friends is going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like, they going crazy. And for me, it's like, that's a battle for me because it's like, y'all out here going crazy, living y'all life. And it's like, college is for that in a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I couldn't relinquish how I grew up and like the perception of like what that looks like and who that makes you and all of that type of stuff. So yeah, I was real green until maybe like end of sophomore, maybe junior year of college. And I was still like, even I let the reins off for me, I was still a lame like to everybody else. So for me, I was in my 20s, like I should have did stuff like this in college. Yeah.
So like, cause you speak on like your siblings a lot. And then you also previously talked about like hanging out with them inside, I mean in the crib, but outside in public, you weren't really, you know what I'm saying, around them. Do you feel like, cause I was gonna ask you, you know what I mean? Like we kind of from the same neighborhood, so to speak. So do you feel like you was kind of attached to your siblings? Cause you played sports, you know what I mean? And for me, you know what I'm saying? Cause I was just kind of thinking of my situation. I got one brother, you know what I'm saying? But I do
Younger
have cousins, older brother.
Older brother, okay.
But like an 11-year gap. You know
so you really was the only child.
I was like the only child. So for me, you know what I'm saying, the park was like my sanctuary where I met all my people at, you know what I'm saying? Because I was into sports.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you being into sports, or how can I word it? Do you feel like you was like attached to your siblings to make you not want to do those things? Cause like I said, you could have came to the park, you know what I'm saying? We would have welcomed you.
Don't get me wrong. I came to the park, right? However, me and my sister didn't get to do what the boys got to do. Yeah. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So like if we came to the park, when them street lights came on or when it got to a certain time, you was coming back home. And then we could sit on the porch and, you could kick it with the people who live on your block. But my brother and them was outside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was outside. So I do feel like I'm attached to my siblings, but I also feel like I had a social life too.
Yeah.
But I never was pressed for friends though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because my sibling group is so big and we so close in age, it's always a kicking session. It's always you getting baked. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what's going on.
Yeah.
grandma not exempt, mama not exempt, like, you know what I'm saying? So we always had a good time in the house, but I was also social outside too. Yeah. But I was never really pressed for friends. And that's an issue in adulthood, because I have a big sibling group, and it's like, you know, if I want to chill, if I want to kiki, I could, you know, go to my mama's house or, you know, whatever the case is, versus like, let me call my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like having that bond with your siblings, like, you know, them protecting and like kind of in a way it's teaching you morals and values.
Yeah.
Like you said, when you went off to school, you know what I'm saying, you meet me in the lounge with the boys, you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
Because
you not coming in this room.
they was overprotected.
This my house, because it's my house.
Yeah.
So it's like I was taught like you don't just let anybody in your house.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was telling the boys meet me at the lounge. They was like the lounge, because you know if you meet me in the lounge, now everybody's seeing who you talk to, so they weren't really with that.
Right.
And I was like, well, if you ain't, you know, I don't know what to tell you, you know. So but honestly though, I think that because I had like the mindset of like I had such a naive mindset. Like if I felt like if I saw a girl like talking to too many boys, I'm like, you know. But I feel like it kind of deprived me to like really communicate with the opposite sex, to like even like, you know, what I like. I don't know, like I'm out here not even knowing what I like. Oh, I like him.
Right.
You don't even know him. You just, this is a guy you talk to, so you like him. It's just like, nah, but I didn't have that, you know, that space where I was like talking to multiple guys and like, okay, I don't really like him, or I like this about him, and I didn't have that until like I was like in my like late 20s. A square from Delaware. But now, yeah, you can't just run up on me like that.
I'm weak. So let's dive into your book real quick. You know what I'm saying? Peeling Back the Layers, A Woman's Guide, you know, to Becoming Her.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Let me do his research.
What was the process like, and you know, what was the inspiration behind that?
Man, it's deep. Okay, we going there. Peeling Back the Layers was a time where I had started my healing journey maybe like 2 years prior to me writing the book. And for me, I never thought I needed to heal because I was a good person. I'm a good person. I got good motives, you know, my heart is in the right place.
Yeah.
So I never thought I needed to heal from things until like the pandemic happened, right? So let me just take you through it. Like the pandemic happened. The pandemic don't owe me nothing, honestly. So I was like, at this point, I'm like 28, 29 now. You know, I'm in my career. I got a couple of dollars on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my first apartment, little suburban apartment with nice plush rugs. I'm dating my favorite guys. Like, you know, it's a good time right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was a good time. My apartment ever don't owe me a thing. And I was dating. You know, of course you have a favorite, you know, when you dating. So I had a lot going on where, let me back up. Previously, I was dating somebody who looked like Rufus off Kim Possible. I don't even know what I had going on. But anyway, I was dating this person. I was dating that person. And when I was dating him, I hadn't dated in a long time. I was the type of girl who would go like years, not talking to nobody. I'm at church. I'm at work. Like this, I'm not going to say a lame because I feel like I needed that foundation.
Yeah.
But I would, no. You say one wrong, it's a no for me, man. I'm cool. So I was like dating, like as a grown woman, right? That was my first time dating as a grown woman. And he really wasn't on nothing, but it was like I was invested. My feelings was invested a little bit. And I think he ain't last 2 months, I don't think. But my feelings was still hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like grieving that. I'm getting over that. And even like spiritually, I was telling God like, oh, you playing with me. I've been doing everything right all my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you playing, I'm finna do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's up.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
So I'm talking about I got a roster. This is my first time in my life. I got a roster. And I'm like, I'm 28, 29. You know, and I'm like, I'm telling guys like, look, I'm not looking for anything serious, you know. I'm looking to learn, you know, can you teach me something? Can I teach you something? Can we coexist in the same space? Can respect live here? Like, you know what I'm saying? And guys looking at me crazy like, what? And I'm just like, now y'all said y'all want people to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really being honest. Like, I don't trust myself right now to like get in no committed relationship. So that's not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to date. I'm trying to kiki. I'm trying to have a good time. So I was leading with that. You know what I'm saying? So I met a few people. They was cool. We dated. We kiki. And I ended up meeting this one guy. He was the favorite. So it's just like now I'm favoring him. But not only because I'm like got that spiritual background. When I interact with people, it's like it's not only like, oh, he cute. It's like I see you.
Mm-hmm. And
because I got 4 brothers, I know what it looks like for men to like not have a vulnerable safe space. You know what I'm saying? I know what it looks like when men feel like they have to show up when your feelings hurt, when you ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you navigating like your own manhood and you really don't have nobody look to like a father figure. So you trying to figure it out. So I know how that looks up close because I have 4 brothers and they all different type of men.
Mm-hmm.
So they navigating life different ways. So when I come in contact with a man, I could look at you and be like, oh, he's struggling with this. Okay. And I can meet you with a safe space. And for me, I had to, like, during that time, I didn't have no like filter of like, you can't do that with everybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to really vet somebody to be able to like be in that space with him. But this one particular guy, it was just something that drew me to him. You know him.
You said I know him?
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah. But anyway, something that drew me to him on a spiritual level. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because, and not that he was like, oh, he a man of God. Da, 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 da. Like, I could just, you know, it's an energy for me that I'd be like, okay, I see what he present himself as, but I also see him. You know what I'm saying? And I saw him, and I was just like, you know, coming from where he come from, coming from the circumstances that he came from, and for him to still be able to like, I'm not saying he's doing like immaculate, but he's doing well. Like he's like weathered storm. I know he like weathered some storms to even just be out here like walking around being okay, kikiing, got a little couple of dollars on him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was just like, I admired that for one, because had I been through like even a few of the circumstances he grew up in, I don't even know how that would look for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I admired that. So I attached myself to him, I think way too quickly. And it took a toll on me. And then, you know, I'm in my career, and this is around the time where I'm like, I don't know if I, you know, want to do this no more. It's taking a toll on me mentally. Mm-hmm. I had a student who, she had graduated, I want to say this 2020, 2021 at the time. She graduated, and like maybe a few days after graduation, her and a couple of my other students were in like a bad car accident, like a really bad car accident. And one thing about like, I love all my students, but it's like I rock with certain students. Ones, you know what I'm saying? So I'm out of town at one of my friends' house. And when my student called me and she was like, "Is there? We was in an accident." And I was like, "Okay, you okay?" She was like, "Yeah, but you know, it was bad. But it's not registering to me like that. It's bad. Mm-hmm. So I was like, "Okay." She told me she was okay. She told me who was involved. And I was like, "Well, I'm going to call you back because I'm out of town. I'm at a barbecue. You know, it's music playing." So my other student, her mom calls me and was like, "No, it's bad." Mm. And like, I'm talking about like, you know, car total, her femur was broken. Yeah. You know, she got skull fractures. They got to like remove parts of her skull so her brain can like, you know, swell up, and like, it was bad. And I flew back home. I went to go see her. And at that point, I feel like I didn't even know I was holding on to so much like emotional stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that summer, I just was like crying all the time. Like, what is wrong with me? I'm at a red light. I'm going to get some ice cream. Like, why am I crying? And it just got to a point where I was like, I think I need to go to therapy. Mm. And went to therapy. And as a Black woman, I don't even think sometimes we realize like how much we carry. And we just like suck it up like, this is, you know, this normal. Mm-hmm. It's life. You know what I'm saying? And my therapist was like, this is a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, nah, everybody, you know, roll with the punches like this. And it took that point of my life where I was like, oh, I got some stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Like emotionally, which is like having these tolls on me that I can't put language to. Mm. I just know like I feel heavy. And I'm like, this normal though. You feel heavy sometimes, and then, you know, you make a to-do list. You know, get yourself together. You get yourself on a schedule, and everything gets better. And like, I could go no further operating like that. So I was in therapy for about maybe 2.5 years. Now I'm learning myself. I'm like getting rid of all this emotional heaviness, right? Through therapy, and then through my own, you know, like just being in the house, sitting with myself, asking myself hard questions, naming the trauma, like that hurt your feelings. You know, you grew up like this, you never got to express yourself, you know, like all of the things. And like, you know, years of that. And, you know, I got to like 2023. Now we in 2023. Now my career is like, okay, I don't think this is for me. Cause now I'm like, I'm existing. I'm going to work. I'm coming home. I'm sitting on the couch to decompress for maybe 30 minutes, take a shower, going to bed, and doing it all over again.
Like a routine for
like
you.
it, and it's like, I remember sitting in the bed and was like, I totally understand why Martin went to Najee Rumba camp and just like left and became Brother Sunflower. Like,
You funny.
I totally understand how he wanted to just leave everything and just go somewhere with like no responsibilities, nobody to pull on you, nobody to ask you questions. Like I just totally understood that. And I was just like, I can't, like I've been healing, I've been making progress. I'm like, I can't go back to a place where it's like, I'm so heavy. And God gave me like peeling back the layers, because that's what I was doing. Like I was really living this, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in therapy, and she was just like, you know, have you thought about like taking a mental health leave? I'm like, a mental health leave? Like, what you saying? Like, you know, because that's not things we talk about in our culture, in our household. So she explained to me what that was. I took a 3-month leave from work and changed the game for me. Like, I started doing what I call video journals.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you posting stuff like that.
Yeah, that be God. I don't be want to post that stuff because it be so personal. But I'm getting better. I started doing video journals. So with video journals, I would go in my home office, turn on my computer, press record, and just talk. Like, no script, no like, oh, we talking about this, like just talk. And like whatever came up for me came up. And I was so surprised at like what came up for me. So I'm walking myself through that. I'm talking about, I see why people be like, healing for what? You know, I'm finna go get this drink.
Right.
I'm finna go have sex. I'm finna distract myself from everything but like really sitting with myself.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do.
No, I agree. But in a way, like, you know, when you do express those thoughts, it kind of helps you, you know, in a sense. It
does, yeah.
Like, it helps you kind of manage and deal with the trauma that you've been with, like just being vulnerable.
And name
open.
it, yeah.
For sure.
And vulnerability had me in a chokehold. Like, I used to be like in therapy, like, I want to be vulnerable, you know, like I'm dating.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember like Gash was like telling me like they love me. I used to be like, okay. Like, or I used to like try to change the subject, because it's like, that's not,
right.
You know, you want me to express my emotion, like, and I'm just like, now that I'm older, and I'm like, as a woman, that's my superpower. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not tapped into that, like, what am I doing? Honestly. So I had to walk through that, like, with myself first. And I'm glad God gave me, like, a space to do that with myself instead of, like, attaching myself to somebody and, like, not knowing how to do that. So, like, now it's, like, friction, because we both kind of probably don't know how to do that, but we like in a relationship where communication should be happening and vulnerability should be happening, and all of these things. And it's like, I don't know how to do it. So that was real. And it's like, you know, you a man. Yeah. Men ain't that vulnerable.
Nah. It took a lot for me, for sure. You know what I'm saying? For sure. But you're right. I can agree to that. For sure.
So, but as a woman, you know, I'm learning, you know, about womanhood and femininity. It's like, now, please, I have a hood guy at the park coloring. You hear what I'm telling you? Because it's like, once you tap into that, like, vulnerability and, like, you know, femininity, when I say it's your superpower, like, as women, our role is so powerful that, like, God wired us a certain type of way. And a part of, like, what I think a part of my purpose is to just like explain womanhood or teach womanhood to women on a different level, because when I tell you, like, if you're not operating in your role as a woman, you're not really living, and you're doing yourself and the world a disservice, because they need the world need women in their full essence, like, you know what I'm saying? And not to, like, you know, you got this culture, like, you know, you got women saying, I don't catch feelings, I catch flights. No, you don't.
I ain't heard that in a while.
Man, I'm just like, or even like this whole, like, being in your masculine energy as a woman. And it's like, I understand it, because when you a woman, you have to do everything. Like, I pay my own mortgage and car note and take out like, how am I supposed to bask in my femininity when I'm constantly in these masculine roles? You know what I'm saying? But when I was learning, like, you can still do that and tap into your femininity, but you just have to be intentional about it. Yeah. It's intentional work.
Yeah. Well, make sure y'all go get that. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely available on Amazon for purchase.
It is.
So before we get out of here, I definitely want to, like, transition. Yeah. Like I said, you are an entrepreneur and an owner. Yeah. You know what I mean? So talk about B. Durr's collection.
B. Durr's collection. Oh my God. Just something so dear to me, because I feel like I've always liked to, like, you know, dress and put things together. And it just, like, came naturally. I'm not gonna be buying these clothes from these people. I could, you know, make my own. Yeah. And it really took off because I started involving my students. Because I'm like, I'm a teacher, I ain't got time. Like, this is overwhelming me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had this after school group called Student Marketing Group. And they was like packing orders, inventory, website stuff. I was like, oh, I'm on to something. You know what I'm saying? Right. And when I tell you, my business started thriving, and then the pandemic happened. So now me and my students we're not in close proximity no more. Although my business still was thriving after that, I started to experience burnout, because I'm a full-time teacher. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I'm like stretching myself thin, but at one point it was normal. And at another point it was like, I can't do this by myself. So I, like, stepped back for a while. I still ain't, like, really
dove in for it. Yeah. Well, you gonna get there, you know what I'm saying? Just a matter of time. Like you said, you're in the process of learning yourself and things like that. So it's just a matter of time. Yeah. Like, everything gonna fall in place. Yeah. So yeah, like, before we get out of here, do you have, like, any last words or anything that you know, care to share to the people, you know what I'm saying? Especially the women, because I feel like you really talking to the women with the women empowerment.
I love women. You can't even play with women in front of me, because I'm on your neck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But also, I have a love for men too, because y'all so important. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Black men are so important. Y'all leaders in your own right. And I think that, like, our culture is, like, tricking men out of their spot a little bit. And I hate that for them. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because, you know, we need to hear that sometimes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you sharing that on this platform.
I feel like I have so much respect for Black men, and I love Black men, but when I see certain stuff, it kind of, like, disappoint me, because I know, like, y'all better than that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if I could leave some last words for women and men, I would tell women, like, if you don't do anything else, explore womanhood, explore your femininity, get to know yourself on a deeper level, because the power that's gonna bring you, that confidence that gives you, is unmatched. Yeah, explore that. It's a game changer. It's a cheat code. And for men, when I say you are necessary, you are important, you are needed, I'm not just saying that. You know what I'm saying? I think that the role of a man is so important and necessary, and not what culture says your role is. Not, oh, you got to buy bags and spend money and go on expensive dates. Like, being a leader and being a man is so much more than being a provider in a monetary way. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are real temperature regulators. You know what I'm saying? If your emotions ain't right here, the whole house off. You know what I'm saying? People think it's like the women, but it's like, we submit when we have real leadership. Yeah. So, like, I remember I was dating a guy, and I was about to, like, argue with him, and he, like, looked at me like, I don't talk to you like that. And I was just like, you don't talk to me like that. I can't talk to that man like that. You don't talk to me like that. So it's like, even he didn't have to get loud with me. He didn't have to disrespect me. He just let me know, like, we don't talk to each other like that.
Right.
And I was able to submit under that and be like, okay, we don't talk like that. Simple. You know what I'm saying? But if you rah-rah with me, guess what?
You right back.
I'm right back rah-rah.
Well, that's good. You understood that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. But yeah, man, on that note, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a pleasure, you know what I'm saying, to have you. I appreciate you for coming through, sharing your story. You definitely have an interesting story, and I would love to know more about it.
Yeah, you got to have me back.
Yeah, I'm going to have you back. I already said it to myself. I'm going to have you back, man. Yeah. But I definitely appreciate you for coming through. Shout out to all the viewers, all the listeners, you know what I'm saying, that's out there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you always stay safe. You know what I'm saying? Stay out the way, of course. And yeah, see y'all on the next one.